are going to learn about sense organs and a few more important things. So, to quickly recap or review what we have learned, we know that we have 5 sense organs in our body. And what do? They help us making sense of our surroundings. That is, it helps us to enjoy all the good things that is around us, all the good experiences, all the beauty, all the variety of things that are around us. But also it protects us from danger, or it warns us about any danger. We discussed when we cross the road, they tell us, look before you cross. Why? Because our eyes will tell us if a vehicle is coming, or if we didn't see a vehicle, for example, then we can hear the horn, and that's when we know, oh, the vehicle is coming, it's not safe for me to cross the road. Then again, if we are tasting something and it's bitter to our tongue, do we continue to have it? No, we will just keep away that kind of food, or it can be harmful for us. And smell, if there is any unpleasant odor, if there is any poisonous chemicals, anything in a particular area, do we go forward and smell more? No. Our sense organs tell us that it's not safe for you. So you can compare our sense organs to antennas. Antennas will, tell us the direction that we have to go, and sometimes when there is anything in the front, it can do beep, beep, beep. Yeah. So our sense organs are like that to our body. Okay. So we learnt about the sense organs and what they help us to do. Now, before we go into the details, there is something that is very important about our society that we have to be aware of. This is a very sensitive issue, and we need to be aware so we can help these kind of people. Today, we will look at physically handicapped people, or better called as differently abled people. So these people may be in our society, may be in our neighborhood, at times they may be in our house too. Unfortunately, they must have lost any of their external organs. But I call them brave because they have learned to adapt. They have learned to overcome that disability and adapt themselves and live in this society almost like a normal person. Now, how do they do that? By training themselves to use other organs more. And second thing is, they use aids or things that help them. And the third thing is artificial organs. So the word itself tells us it is artificial organ. Whatever organ that they have lost or it is damaged, they will have an organ which is made by man, which when attached to their body will help them function almost normal like every other human being, because they are not to be kept on one side. They also have amazing talents. They also have so much creativity to give like every other human being. Just because they have a tiny physical disability does not make them any different or any less. It's just a minor setback in their life. So they are really brave people to move on and still function in the society. How can we help them? We can help them by being very helpful to them. Whenever we see, we can offer help. And second thing is, we do not tease them. Third thing is, be very kind to them. Now, suppose you find somebody who is differently abled in your school or in your neighborhood, what do? You can offer help, you can be kind to them, you do not tease them, and if they are your own classmates, maybe you can be friends with them. You can gather up your friends and go and include that person so that they don't have to be lonely in their childhood or in their society. So something small you have done, but it's making a huge difference for that person. Okay, moving on to sense organs, eyes and ears. Let's take a look at eyes. Eyes are our cameras. You can compare the eyes to the cameras. They help us see all the beauty around us, and they also tells us when there is any kind of danger, sharp objects or anything that is coming against us, like a stray dog or somebody who is having a sharp object and trying to harm other people. So those things our eyes tell us. Now, how do we keep this precious camera of ours healthy? Because we need it all our lives. We see the world through it, right? So how do we keep it healthy? Number one, we have to wash our eyes daily. Daily, 2 to 3 times at least. So what happens when we wash our eyes? It removes the dust, and sometimes in the dust there are germs which are not good for our eyes. So wash our eyes with cold water. One thing is, it will remove all the dirt and the germs and also refresh our eyes, cool our eyes. That is one. Second thing is, we have to give rest for our eyes, because from morning till night we see everything with our eyes. So eyes also need rest. So much of light and colors and so many things, our eyes are overloaded. But it does a good job, but it requires rest. So rest and sleep is very important. The third thing that we have to do is not watch TV for too long. Is this a common dialogue that you hear at home? Yes, our parents say it because of their experience. Because watching TV for a long time, or even nowadays you have video games and mobile phones. So watching in it for a long time is a strain for your eyes, and lying down and watching it, and all these things are a big strain for your eyes. That's how we protect our eyes. Now there is another way that you protect our eyes, that is by going for periodic checkups. So who do we go to when we need to check about our eye? There is a very skilled and specialized doctor who is called an ophthalmologist. So what he does is, he is trained, as I mentioned, will look into your eyes and tell us if there is any problem and prescribe something so that we can rectify the problem. Now sometimes some of our eye conditions may require glasses. So where do we go then? Then we go to another trained person called an optician. This person called the optician checks our eyes and gives us the right glasses. And when they give us those glasses and the ophthalmologist prescribes it, it's important that we follow so that, it can be rectified. The vision changes as we age. Sometimes it can be rectified, sometimes it cannot be rectified. That is why sometimes we see our grandparents wearing eyeglasses every time, like permanently, not just for reading. So then that means the change of vision that occurred with the age has caused some permanent changes for which they need glasses all the time. There are people who cannot see. Have you seen those people in our society? By now you know they are called the blind people. But again, they also function effectively in our society. So they are also brave people. They cannot see and enjoy all the beauty, yet they do their day-to-day activities that they have adapted themselves by training and also with the help of something called as a braille. Now before going to the braille, let me tell you what are the reasons by which they must have had a blindness. At times babies are born without ability to see. Sometimes it is because as they grow older, some people because of some illness, some accidents, sometimes wrong medication, or sometimes due to some infection, they have lost their sense of vision or they have lost their sight. We call them blind people, but good news is there's something that will help them. That is called a braille system. What is a braille is? It is a different types of pattern on raised dots. So these precious people, they use the sense of feeling or sense, and they will learn things around them. So that is the one that helps them still function effectively in the society. with the help of Braille, they can even read and write. That is wonderful, right? Moving on to ears. Ears help us to hear all the beautiful sounds like birds chirping, music, and people talking and laughing. The sound of laughter is nice, right? And then instruments playing, different things. But also our ears hear all the unpleasant sounds like blaring horns or loud music, dogs barking for a long time. Now, how do we take care of our ears that is so helpful for us? We can take care of it by not putting anything like pins or pens or pencils. Do not put anything into your ears. So, even if you have to clean your ears with a earbud, remember to ask your parents to come and help you. You can avoid hearing too many loud sounds, like sometimes there'll be a speaker, don't go and sit near it. And sometimes, people want to listen to music, like even if your children want to listen to music, remember not to put the earphones for too long and too loud. Okay, so this is how you take care of it. Now, who takes care of the ears? A specialized doctor called a E.N.T specialist. Go for periodic checks and take good care of your ears. Now, people, if they become deaf, or people who have lost their hearing sense, are called as deaf people. So, like we talked about eyes, as we grow older, even our sense of hearing also decreases. They can be partial or they can be permanent. Now, what is partial is they can hear some things. So, then the doctor will suggest something called a hearing aid. I'm sure you've seen it, but that helps those people to hear better. But if the hearing is permanently reduced, then nothing can be done. But the good news is, then there is something called a sign language. So when you go for big conferences or anything, meetings, they are very sensitive to this group of people that they will have sign language in the speech, or somebody who's speaking in the conference, their entire whatever they speak will be interpreted as sign languages, so that these people also will be able to partake just like anybody else. That brings us to the end of this unit. I hope you really learned all about differently abled people and the blind and also the deaf, and how you can care for these people.